What up, YouTube? T-Moose here. With that scandalous film, Bombshell, which is of course about the scandal of Fox News boss Roger Ailes, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite scandal movies because I always do love me a good scandalous film and there's been some really great ones over the years. So with that being said, here's my 10 favorite scandal movies. All right, coming in at number 10, it is Oliver Stone's film Nixon, which of course is the exploration of former President Richard Nixon, and of course, obviously Richard Nixon is best known for the war. Of course, he was involved with the Watergate scandal and all that. And you had Anthony Hopkins as Nixon. This is a really good movie. I mean, you also had Joan Allen as his wife. She was terrific. This movie really chronicles Nixon from presidential to his Watergate scandal. And granted, I didn't really know much about the scandal when I first saw this movie. Because obviously it was ahead of my time. I learned about that a little bit in history class, but that's really it. But still, Nixon is a really good film. If you guys haven't really seen Nixon with Anthony Hopkins, Joan Allen, and loads of other people directed by Oliver Stone, it's a really good film. Alright. Coming in at number 9, it is the film Shattered Glass. Now, Shattered Glass it's actually one of the films that made me go, yeah, this Hayden Christensen kid, this dude has chops. Because he was coming off of the Star Wars prequels, and so lots of people weren't aware of how talented this kid is. But he did a movie called Shattered Glass, which Hayden Christensen is terrific in this movie. I mean, obviously now he's best known for playing Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels. But here he played a very different role. He played this journalist named Stephen Glass, who ends up putting on a good show for his adoring editor named Michael Kelly, played wonderfully by Hank Azaria. But admits deep insecurities to his fellow writer Caitlin Amy, played by Chloe Sevigny. But Glass ends up beginning to turn this outrageous stories in his popularity, and it's popularity ends up skyrocketing. But his rival, who's this journalist named Charles Lane, played wonderfully by Peter Sarsgaard, becomes very suspicious to the faculty, and he wants to discover that Glass has been fabricating many of his known sources and all. And Glass was of course a staff writer for the New Republic. Funny because he was in Star Wars, and Star Wars featured the Old Republic, so I always found that to be pretty funny. Anyway, Shattered Glass is a pretty good scandalous-based movie. You also had Rosario Dawson was terrific in this film. It has some great direction. I think even Kristen probably could have gotten an Oscar nomination for this, because this is actually one of the movies where I always defend every time when someone says Hayden Christensen cannot act at all. I always bring up Shattered Glass because he was terrific in this movie. If you guys haven't really seen Shattered Glass yet, and you're always very cautious of Christian's acting outside the Star Wars prequels, definitely go check out Shattered Glass. Alright. Coming in at number 8, it is The Big Short. Now, this is, of course, about the scandalous involving the financial housing, the financial crisis that was brought on by the U.S. Housing bubble that took millions of people by surprise, including except for these group of financial investors and hedge fund managers who saw the crash that was coming and worked out a way to make billions off of it. And this is based on the novel by Michael Lewis, who also did the books of Blindside and Moneyball, which ended up getting turned into, which you guys don't know, those ended up getting turned into movies. And this has a great cast. You had Christian Bale, Brad Pitt. You had, Christian Bale has a thing of scandalous movies, doesn't he? Anyway, you also had Steve Carell. You had a cameo by Margot Robbie. Marissa Tomei was in this. Some really great cast members. I mean, the movie ended up scoring loads of Oscar nominations, and it ended up winning, including Best Adapted Screenplay. And, yeah, Big Short is really terrific. I mean, it is crazy that the story really happened and the financial housing crisis really happened, like really took off, and it was like a very scandalous story back in the days. And I mean, of course, you had Bell as the as the fund manager, Michael Berry, and Christian Bale was really terrific. If you guys haven't really seen The Big Short yet, definitely give it a shot. All right. Coming in at number 7, it is the Oscar-nominated film Quiz Show. Now, this movie takes place in 1958, and it's about this college professor named Charles Van Doren, who ends up winning this, became a massive winning streak on this NBC game show named 21, and he becomes a national sensation. But a scandal broke that, and the scandals that, and of course the scandals that yeah, he was, pretty much cheating, and also there's like a cheating scandal that happened with him. And Ray Fiennes was magnificent in this movie, and Quiz Show is terrific. I mean, great, interesting cast members. This is probably one of my favorite Ray Fiennes performance, really, because I know he was terrific in this. And the movie, of course, ended up getting an Oscar nomination for Best Picture, and it actually was nominated. Like, this was one of the films that was now, the movie Quiz Show was actually nominated with some interesting competition. It ended up losing out to Shawshank, losing out to Forrest Gump, I should say. I got nominated with Shawshank Redemption, Pulp Fiction, and Four Weddings and Funeral. I mean, what a interesting Oscar that must have been. But yeah, Quiz Show is really good. If you guys haven't really seen Quiz Show, give it a shot. It's a really good film. Alright. Coming in at number 6, it is American Hustle. Now, American Hustle is this fiction film set in the alluring world of the most scandalous rock our nation, and it tells the story of this con man named Irving Rosenfeld, played by Christian Bale, who has a thing with scandals. And you got Bradley Cooper, who plays this FBI agent named Richie DiMazzo, who really pushes Irving and his wife Sidney Prescott, played by Amy Adams, to look into the world of Jersey power broker and the mafia. And you got Jeremy Renner, who pretty much plays the this mayor named Carmine Palatillo, who's this passionate and volatile and New Jersey political operator who's caught in between the con artists and the feds. I mean, Jeremy Renner was really great in this. And this film, of course, it's another film that scored an Oscar nomination for Best Picture because the Oscars just love scandals. You also had Jennifer Lawrence, did a great job at playing Renner's alternate wife. I mean, this movie is a really terrific gem. David Russ directed it. Really, sorry for that. Really a terrific cast involved. I mean, if you guys haven't really seen American Hustle by now, definitely go check out American Hustle. Alright, coming in at number 5, it is Michael Mann's classic, The Insider. And it's where this big tobacco executive named Jeffrey Wiggum, played by Russell Crowe, and you got this TV producer named Lowell Bergman, played by Al Pacino. Suspects a story that lies between Wiggins, Reckless to speak. You also got Christopher Plummer as Christopher Plummer as this at 60 Minutes news anchor Mike Wallace, and the two must contend with the courts and the corporations that stand between them and exposing the truth. And anyway, The Insider is really good. I mean, Russell Crowe, he actually outacted Al Pacino in this. That's usually very rare when when it acted like when Russell Crowe like you're good when you actually outact Al Pacino Al Pacino. Christopher Plummer as Mike Wallace. That's kind of really cool casting right there. I mean, yeah, The Insider is about it's a really interesting scandal film, and craziest to believe it's based on a true story. And I mean, Wanga also ends up struggling to maintain his family life, as well as he also ends up getting a death threat throughout. I mean, if you guys haven't really seen The Insider, give it a go. It's a really good film. I mean, one of Michael Mann's finest work. All right, coming in at number 4, it's a film that actually won. The film that actually won Best Picture at the Oscars, and that is Spotlight. Now, Spotlight is of course the scandal about these these journalists who's trying to take down the Catholic priest who becomes in this child sexual abuse scandal in the Catholic Church, and it's a really terrific film. I mean, great cast. You got Steve Carell. Oh no, not Steve Carell. You got Mark Ruffalo. Who else? Oh yeah, you got Rachel McAdams, Stanley Tucci, Leo Schreiber. You had Micah Keaton. Tom McCartney directed this. It's a really great cast members. I mean, it's crazy that like a priest will do this to kids. Like that is really insane. That's insane. That is really insane to even believe that it's based on a true story, but it really is. I mean, crazy that stuff like this really happened. And yeah, I mean, if you guys haven't really seen Spotlight, I still didn't think it should won Best Picture that year. Like I thought Room was the better movie that year, but it's still really terrific film. All right, coming in at number. All right, coming in at number 3, it is Aaron Brockovich. Now, Aaron Brockovich, of course, is the film that won Julia Roberts her first ever. Hey, what are you doing out here? YouTube. Anyway, sorry about that. Yeah, Aaron Brockovich stars Julia Roberts as the Tyro of Aaron Brockovich, who ends up pleading with her attorney Ed Mesri to hire her as his law firm, and Aaron ends up stumbling upon these medical records placed in real estate files, and anyway, she ends up convincing Ed to allow her to investigate, and she ends up discovering a cover up involving contaminated wars in this a local community, which also ends up having devastating illness amongst its residents and all. It's directed by Steven Soderbergh. I mean, Aaron Brockovich is terrific. Julia Roberts, Aaron Eckhart also starred in this. R.I.P. Albert Finney, he was terrific. Even the real Aaron Brockovich actually had a cameo in this. That was pretty cool to watch. I mean, Aaron Brockovich is really terrific. One of Julia Roberts' finest works. That and Pretty Woman are really her central role she's ever done. But still, if you guys haven't really seen Aaron Brockovich, it's really terrific. Ended up scoring an Oscar nomination for Best Picture. Like I said, won Julia Roberts her first ever Oscar. Really terrific film if you guys haven't seen it. I mean, who just loves a movie about about fighting the corruptions and all that? Like we just had that movie Dark Waters, which is actually a modern Aaron Brockovich. So, all right, coming in at number 2, it is Serpico, directed by Sidney Lumet, starring Al Pacino as the Tyro, who is this New York cop who refuses to take bribes, unlike the rest of his force, and his actions ends up getting him shunned by the other officers, and so this of course takes place in 1960s 60s and 70s New York, and he ends up speaking out against police corruptions, and he ends up being shot in the cheek by the suspect, and other officers were there on the scene, but they left him to die. So like, so yeah, there's like a police corruption scandal that happens throughout. It's probably not as good as Scarface, obviously, but it is one of Al Pacino's finest performances. Sidney Lumet probably one of Sidney Lumet's best directing work. It's a really terrific film. Great performances by like I said, by Pacino. Who doesn't love a good police corruption based film? Al Pacino as a New York cop. You could really buy that in a heartbeat. I mean, if you guys never really seen Serpico, it's a really good one. And this is actually a movie that lots of real cops could really relate to, you know. All right, now my number one favorite scandal movies of all time, I gotta say it's kind of like the Godfather of scandal movies, and that is All the President's Men. Now it stars Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman, who plays these two reporters and rivals working for the Washington Post, and they ends up researching the Bach 1972 burglary of the Democrat headquarters at the Watergate apartment complex. And so you got this mysterious source, codename. I'm not kidding. The codename of this source is named. It's literally named Detroit. Yeah. And the two reporters end up making a connection between the burglars and the White House staffers and This is of course based on like an article. Dustin Hoffman and Robert Redford were both great in this. And I guess you could say this was like the spotlight of that era. Uh, Robert Redford and Dustin Hoffman. I'll let you see those two work together again. I mean, those two really play off each other well, and they play these characters really perfectly. I mean, this was a really cool scandalous based film, and we also had that movie The Post, directed by Steven Spielberg. I guess you could say was in the vein of this because it had some of the same characters involved. But All the President's Men, I mean, the interviews that happen in this, crazy that it's based on a true story. I mean, if you guys haven't really seen All the President's Men, it's a really great one, really classic. Alright, that's pretty much it. Let me do the quick round. Alright. 10, Nixon. 9, Shattered Glass. 8, The Big Short. 7, Quiz Show. 6, American Hustle. 5, The Insider. 4, Spotlight. 3, Aaron Brockovich. 2, Serpico. And 1, All the President's Men. Now, there's loads of other ones I probably could have added. Alright, Notes on the Scandal. Of course, the film Scandal, not to be confused with the TV show, but there's like a film Scandal that got released in like the 80s and had John Hurt. That Anthony Weiner documentary, literally titled Weiner, which is a weird documentary. There's loads of other ones I probably also could have added. The recent one, Dark Waters, The Post. But let me leave to you guys. What are some of your favorite scandal movies? Drop comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for more notifications. This here is C Movies signing off.